Paul McCartney, one of the pioneers of the Beatles, is a successful British musician, skilled at so many things related to the music he was most famous for during his time with the Beatles. There were lots of speculations that he was involved in other things apart from music to make money. He has been ranked not only the richest Beatle, but also one of the wealthiest musicians in the world. Wow! Such a huge feat he has achieved. What do you think his estimated net worth would be? Do you think he became this rich via music only? We'll dive right into this detail, but before we do so, don't forget to subscribe to our channel for more exclusive content on the Beatles. Paul McCartney started music at quite a young age and has become a billionaire from it. He has explored every side of music and has leveraged them to make money. His early life and growth process till this time is surely worthy of emulation. The musician, Sir James Paul McCartney, was born on the 18th of June, 1942, and was raised in Liverpool, England. McCartney's mother, Mary, died of a brain embolism when McCartney was just 14 years old. His father, James, was a trumpet player and a pianist. Safe to say he was born into music. The family had an upright piano and Paul was encouraged to practice often. McCartney composed an early tune that later became When I'm 64 on the piano. McCartney wrote his first song, I Lost My Little Girl, on a Zenith acoustic guitar when he was 14 years old. This was after years of constant practice with the instrument. However, music did not stop just there for him. At age 15, he met John Lennon and the Quarrymen and soon joined the band as a rhythm guitarist. The band was renamed The Beatles in 1960. The lineup included McCartney, Lennon, and George Harrison, and in 1962, they added Ringo Starr. In 1964, the Beatles were sparking Beatlemania worldwide, dominating the US and UK pop markets, and breaking multiple sales records. McCartney and Lennon co-wrote their early hits, including Love Me Do and several others. The Beatles are still the best-selling music act of all time, with certified sales of over 183 million units in the US and estimated sales of 600 million units worldwide. The Fab Four team holds records for most #1 albums on the UK Albums Chart, most #1 hits on the Billboard Hot 100 chart, and most singles sold in the UK. In 1988, the Beatles were inducted into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame, and all four main members were inducted individually between 1994 and 2015. The Beatles had become a famous band until they fell out over business disagreements. The band's last recorded album was 1969's Abbey Road. After that, McCartney announced his departure from the group on the 10th of April, 1970. After the Beatles split up in 1970, every member of the band started a solo career. McCartney started a solo career with the release of McCartney, which went on to be a #1 album in the US. He was also one of the founding members of the band Wings from 1971 to 1981. His wife, Linda McCartney, played keyboard in the widely successful band. Since 1989, he has toured consistently as a solo artist and has made a lot of money from his musical tour. Amongst all the other members of the band, Paul McCartney found more solo success than any other former Beatle. McCartney continues to be one of the world's most popular acts, with his concerts selling out almost instantly and drawing in millions of dollars. He has released 22 studio pop albums and 5 classical albums since the breakup of the Beatles. His musical style was primarily influenced by American rhythm and blues and Motown. He cites Little Richard as having been his idol since grade school. He was mostly a self-taught musician and mastered many instruments over the years, including bass, acoustic and electric guitars, as well as piano and drums. Paul is also famous for his range and the belting power in his vocals, and has developed and utilized a wide range of singing styles over his career. All these singing skills combined contribute to his net worth currently. Paul McCartney is no doubt one of the richest musicians in the world, with a stunning net worth of $1.2 billion. When it comes to how he earns such money, the answer is simple: he is a Beatle. But why do other members of the Beatles not have the same net worth as him? Time after time, he has maintained being one of the top earning celebrities. How did Sir Paul McCartney come to be so incredibly wealthy? With the kind of music catalog that McCartney has, he can roll out world tour after world tour. From the Beatles in the 1960s to today, the now 80-year-old has been wowing audiences during his tours for 50+ years. During his 2015-2016 tour, for instance, McCartney pulled in $4 million per city. McCartney also delivers and performs excellently well on stage, which brings fans back again and again. He typically plays a 3-hour set when he tours, giving audiences a lot of bang for their buck. Consider the fact that he's been touring since the 1960s. He's probably might have done 1,000 tours by now. In 2002, his tour brought in $126 million. His 2010 tour grossed $93 million. In 2014, he earned $71 million on an 80-day tour through 20 countries. In 2016, he earned $56.5 million. In 2017, he earned $54 million, with his 15-city tour in the US and Brazil. In the fall of 2018, he headlined the annual Austin City Limits Music Festival. In all his touring years, Paul easily earns $50 to $70 million personally. Outside of touring years, he earns tens of millions per year in royalties and licensing fees earned from both music and an incredibly valuable portfolio of publishing copyrights from other artists through his publishing company, MPL Communications. McCartney has an interest in Apple Corp. And MPL Communications. He is the owner of a music publishing catalog, which includes over 25,000 copyrights, including the publishing rights to the musicals Guys and Dolls, A Chorus Line, Annie, and Grease, and the copyrights to songs and artists including Buddy Holly, Carl Perkins, and more. Paul McCartney is a music machine that shows no signs of slowing down. However, reports have shown that McCartney earns over $50 million while touring. In 1985, Michael Jackson bought the rights to the Beatles catalog from ATV. Jackson then sold 50% of ATV to Sony for $95 million. Currently, Sony/ATV owns the rights to the Beatles catalog. McCartney reached an undisclosed settlement with Sony/ATV in regards to the copyright to the Beatles catalog as of 2017. The parties, however, resolved the matter by entering into a confidential settlement agreement and jointly requesting that the court enter the enclosed proposed order dismissing the above-referenced action without prejudice. McCartney also hit one of his biggest deals, after signing with EMI worldwide and Capitol in the US, Canada, and Japan. The Beatles pioneer received ownership of his solo catalog from EMI as part of the deal. McCartney reportedly received the most lucrative recording contract to date when he signed with Columbia Records in 1979. Paul McCartney is also known for investing most of his earnings into real estate, which accounts for a percentage of his net worth. Paul owns at least $100 million worth of real estate around the globe. In 1984, Paul spent $1.88 million to acquire a townhouse in New York City that overlooks the Museum of Modern Art. In 1998, he spent $495,000 to acquire a home in East Hampton, Long Island. By early 2001, he bought Courtney Love's Beverly Hills mansion for $4 million again. In 2015, Paul and his wife Nancy spent $15.5 million on a Manhattan penthouse. This property requires a reported $13,000 in monthly maintenance costs alone. He owns a 190-acre ranch outside of Tucson, Arizona. Paul also owns half a dozen properties in his native United Kingdom, including a 1,500-acre estate in East Sussex, a London flat, and a country estate in Scotland. These are just some of the ones we know about. To sum it up, Paul owns at least $100 million, perhaps $150 million, worth of real estate around the globe. Paul McCartney delved into music to explore the lucrative side of it while still also fueling his passion for the art. To answer the question of how Sir Paul McCartney earned his $1.2 billion fortune, we can sum it up to his talent, hard work, and dedication. Talent to write and perform songs, and dedication to keep touring decade after decade, and that he had lots of audiences still showing up. Paul McCartney is, however, the richest and also most influential member of the Beatles. That's all for today's video, guys. But before we end, what do you think about Paul McCartney's net worth? What do you think is responsible for his success in the music industry? Do you think any other member of the Beatles will come close to his net worth? Let us know what you think in the comment section below. And if you haven't by now, ensure you subscribe to our channel so you don't miss any new updates about the Beatles.